This is Groundeffected, my name is your dad, and today we open up in the printer room, which is a place where I print all my things. Why is that out of focus? But I wanted to show you something. Everything's printed all perfectly fine. I just must have done something stupid with this plate because that is anything but perfectly fine. So this video is on a little bit of a hold because I need to now obviously print that part, because if I don't have that part, well then we don't have a model. And so the best option for this is going to be taking off the parts out of my S4U, because that is the fastest printer that I currently own, and redoing those parts because I obviously need those parts for making this model. So I'm going to take these bits off and then reset up that machine because I need to obviously get this thing working. We might as well take these bits off of here as well, and I'll also take those off of there. But so far, these are the only bits that have not actually succeeded, so I need to actually fix that, because again, like I said, no model if there's no arms. Now, of course, once the model is printed, I need to take all the supports off. But equally, my studio is a little bit cold today. 18 degrees Celsius is not ideal, so I use a blow heater to warm up the printer so I can put those spare parts back in it and hopefully have some successful prints. Everything else now has been washed and cured. Of course, you want to not skip the drying step, otherwise you'll have a sad time. And usually at this point, I will put the model together to make sure that fitment and everything is good. 9 times out of 10 it is, and after that I will do a bit of sanding and get rid of some of the support marks and then move on to priming. At the moment my favorite primer is Kaleido primer, and I have mostly used the black and white. I've never used this grey up until this point, and I feel like I might start introducing this a little bit more, because this is kind of like the neutral point between, obviously grey is the neutral between black and white. That's pretty obvious. I don't know why I didn't think of that before, but it is. And usually, to be honest, I would just mix this up in my airbrush. I wouldn't even use a grey, I would just mix, but it's available, they sent it to me, so I used it, and it made some sense. Now this model is, once again, outside of my realm of things. I like to paint really bright and punchy objects, and this is a dusty, dark, and dingy kind of character. The base for this specifically has to be based in an arid desert type of environment. This stuff is all very old and very dusty, so I chose to use the dry brush as much as possible for this, because the dry brush just tends to give you a dusty look whether you like it or not. And of course there is a little bit of sand on this base, so to create the sand I'm going to turn my airbrush all the way down so that it creates these little speckles, and using skeleton horde I will speckle that over all of the sand that is blowing across this base. I then did not like that sand because I felt like it looked a little bit weird, so I came back with a lighter color and dry brushed over the top of this. This again was to actually make it look dusty, because as soon as you saw me paint that color over the top, it no longer looked dusty and it looked a little bit too perfect, and I was angry with myself, so I dusted it with a lighter color. I feel like this worked. I don't know. I'm still not convinced that I like my base, but we will carry on nonetheless, and we will put a greenish grey over the top of the middle section of this base before putting a little bit of black into the shadows. Now, of course, those models that I printed worked out. That's just because obviously once you make the mistake you know exactly what to do to fix it. I then obviously washed them, cured them, and then moved back into the studio, because I have been keeping my printers in a separate room with a closed door so that I don't die from the cancer that they create, because apparently that's what they do. I don't know. Who knows, really, at this end of the day. I just know that I don't want to die, so I keep them in a room separate from me, and this is a little bit safer. Now, this little base has some glowing eyes on the back, and the reality is, if I had a lot more time, I would have maybe tried to print that in clear and painted everything and put a little light in it, but it's at the back of the base. No one's going to see it, so I just sprayed white in the eyes and pretended like that was the glowy eyes. Now, to put white on other parts of the model, I'm just going to use my airbrush and spray it from the top. This is called a Zenithal highlight, and this gives you free shading for free, and it's like cheating. After that, I can now paint the colors over the top of that. Like, for example, the red on the dress of this dude is literally going to go straight over the top of that Zenithal and give me free shading without even having to try. Same thing for this Blood Angel's red over the top of his skin, and you might be asking yourself, but Mr. Groundeffected, I've seen you paint the pink on top of the skin, and I will say yes, this is in fact true, but this is a man. And so, thus forth, a man cannot be too pinkle, because he will look a little bit let's just say he will look a little bit too pinkle. So I don't want to make him look pinkle, and thus forth, this is why I painted a red underneath his skin tones. And as I was painting him, I started realizing I was making him a little bit too light, but I'll show you exactly how we tint this man to be a bit more of a Persian variety. This is because, of course, he is a Persian man, so he should be a little bit of a tanned skin, and so we need to build up that skin first. This is building the volumes. This is creating the shapes that your eyes will perceive as more depth, and adding highlights on top of the skin will help to create that perception of more depth. Now, we cannot miss the obligatory orcish dermis, and you may be saying to me, but last week you'd painted a man and he didn't have orcish dermis. I know, but I wanted to bring some of that pink back into the skin because the process of doing this lost it. But getting that orcish dermis away, I use Ryklin Flesh Shade over the top of it. And again, you're going to say, this is crazy, why are you doing all these things to cover up the things you did before? And that's because that's the painting process. That's how it works. You do things, and then you do other things on top of things in order to create a whole separate look to the things that you are doing. You don't just do one thing and suddenly there's your look. Painting is a process. It's about adding layers. It's about working with the colors that are underneath the colors that you're going to add on top of the colors. I know this sounds a little bit crazy, especially if you're a beginner, but if you've been painting for a while, you will know that you've had happy accidents where you've painted a color over the top of something you thought was the wrong color, and then gone, wow, that combination of that color over the top of that color looks really fantastic. And this is the science of art. I guess that's the only way I can say it. Now, of course, I painted obviously his pants using that red snakebite leather, of course, which is obviously the name. I used that paint for a very specific reason. It doesn't cover very well, but what it does do is it gives me a brown looking color, and it will be different to the color that I'm going to paint for the belts and buckles and straps on this dude, which, by the way, is going to be Sagor brown. I used that same snakebite leather, but what you may notice is that on the shoe itself, I used Agrax Earthshade. This is going to create a load of pools of paint everywhere, but don't worry about that. It's a leather shoe, so it's meant to look like that, I guess. And I used, obviously, that same snakebite leather that I used on his pants on the little piece of pant that I thought was sticking through this wrap. I don't know how this kind of fashion works. I just know that it felt like these should have been pant color, so I painted them pant color. These little belts that go around them needed to be dry brushed, and that gives them a little bit more depth because, of course, there is a load of detail on them. Now, the correct way to do that would be to actually paint every little detail individually with a very small brush, but who has the time? Anyway, obviously I need to apply the same type of technique to the top portion of the body, and that is to paint all of that Sagor brown over all the straps and armor as well. Whilst that's drying though, I'm going to multitask, and I'm going to quickly mask up the hands and spray some chrome onto the swords. And while those dry, I can now be multitasking, multiple tasking, and doing the dry brushing of the brass over the top of the armor and the buckles on this dude. Let's take a quick minute to tell you about the sponsor of this video. This is Tanuki Figures, and they are a Patreon. This is a group of people that create some sculptures for you to 3D print over on Patreon. Yes, that might sound crazy that you subscribe to them, but the reason you subscribe is for some absolutely incredible perks. For example, if you join up on their biggest tier, you get yourself 6 full-size figures, which are 1/6 scale statues, as well as 6 busts of those, a chibi, an extra, 1 toon, plus 6 legacy figures, and 6 figures in the welcome pack. What you may notice is that all adds up to a whole lot of figures for you to 3D print. Genuinely, just 1 month of support over on these guys gives you so much models you could probably be painting for a very long time. But besides that, they make some incredibly highly detailed models that are cut to perfection and ready for your 3D printer. Of course, if you like the model in this video, there is a discount that you can use, which is in the bottom of the screen right now. You can get a little discount if you want to buy this model singly on its own, that for sure I know. And any of the models that you've seen me make on my channel, that code will work for all of those. Either way, this is a great Patreon for you to join up to if you like 3D printing things and painting them, obviously. So go check them out in the description down below. This is wrong, by the way, and I will only find that out later, but for now, let's just splat some blood all over the place. And for blood, a very good thing to use is 2 colors. You cannot just use one. Well, you can, but to get a little bit more depth out of it, I used this True Blood from Army Painter, and I also used that Blood Angels Red, because the Blood Angels Red is a little bit more see-through, the True Blood's a little bit more not so see-through, and the combination of these two things is what makes it look a little bit more readable like blood. Of course, I used my secret skill in a bottle, which is that Tamiya panel liner, to add a bit more detail to the swords before taking Sargor Brown, and then obviously wrapping up his arms with that. I did this to obviously both arms, but one of these arms has something slightly different, and that is a tattoo. And to do that, I used this water-based inkjet water transfer paper, and I just printed his tattoos using Procreate, which is an app on my iPad. I literally print a couple of different sizes to make sure that I get the right size, and then I obviously do the same procedure you would do to putting water slide decals. You wet them, you wait for them to come off, and then you stick it on. Using something like Decal Set helps to break down the transfer a little bit more, and that's how I'm able to get it to conform to body parts. It was around that time that I realized that the color of the torso of this dude was incredibly wrong, and I'm pretty sure that other things are the wrong color on this model, but at this point it's too late. We're way too deep into it, and so we're just going to go with it. I'm also going to need to add a little bit of matte varnish over the top of that decal. By the way, if you do this, do not do this on the same day. Wait for a whole day. Trust me, that water will stay underneath there and it'll bubble up. This came up in a previous project and it pissed me off. So if you don't want to be pissed off, just give your decals a good long time to dry before you put any matte varnish over the top. Of course, you can put a shiny varnish depending on what the finish of the surface is. Usually I would say a shiny looks a little bit better, but of course you can't have a shiny arm, and a shiny patch on arm will look a little bit weird, but I digress. Let's quickly talk about the caterpillars on the top of this dude's face, which by the way are massive caterpillars, and they need to be painted very shaggy like. That is because he is quite a hairy man, and of course dealing with that hair is going to mean we need a bit of shadow, particularly that 5 o'clock shadow around his face, and for this I use Griff Charger Grey on a low pressure through my airbrush, and I paint that over the entire section of the beard. We will come back to the beard a little bit later, but for now I'm going to chuck some Magos Purple into his eyes. And then of course now we're back at the beard, and this is going to be using a very small brush and the same technique that I used for the eyebrows, and this is a load of tiny little dots. You kind of want not so much of a round dot and a little bit more of like a dash dot, I guess to say, but at the same time while I'm here I'll use the small brush and the same color to line the upper eyelid of this dude's eyes. This will give them a little bit more depth and help it to look a bit more deeper. Of course, I used Magos Purple over his lips because he has beautiful lips, this man, and of course I wanted them to be beautiful. I also then painted a cream white into the eye sockets of this dude so that we have now shaped the sclera, which by the way is the scientific term for the white portion of your eye. I'm now going to use two colors of blue, a dark and a light one. A dark color for the beginning of the eyeball, and then a lighter one goes inside of it. Obviously then you need the color of the pupil, which is going to be black, and I will paint that very carefully into the centers of those, and no specular highlight for this guy because he ain't pretty, he's just beautiful. And that's where I call this model done. So we're at the end of another video made by the Groundeffected, and of course I hope that you enjoyed this video. This was a little bit shorter. I'm kind of experimenting with things because YouTube's becoming a funny place. It's a little bit difficult to keep yours attention, and there are a lot of you that I know that stay for most of the video, in fact all of the video, but it's getting harder and harder to keep the attention of the goldfish that are on the internet these days. Now if you have made it to this far in the video, then of course I want to say thank you, because it's you that's helping to get the reach that the channel should and deserves to reach, I think. I don't really know, because you could have just skipped to this part, in which case, well then go back and watch the rest of the video, you absolute butthole. Anyway, if you don't want to be a butthole, click the subscribe button and also share this video. To be honest, sharing this video and sending it to someone, commenting on it, those kind of things a little bit better than just giving it a like and then moving on. If you haven't subscribed, then you want to subscribe, because that also helps. Maybe not as much as sharing the video, I don't know. I'm not a freaking computer nerd, but what I do know is that I painted a model, and if you like this model, then there will be more videos similar to this and other types of videos on this channel. I post every single week on a Thursday and sometimes on a Sunday too. To be honest, it's been every Sunday for a while, but let's just say sometimes, because we don't want to commit to that. If you are interested in buying this model, by the way, this model will be for sale. And in fact, going forward, unless I say otherwise, models will be for sale. because previously I didn't want to sell them, but now I'm starting to run out of space, and I realized that I need to actually just get rid of them once I've made them, and if I really like them, then I'll just keep them. But for now, we need to make sure that this doesn't work. And speaking of this, there will be some models up for sale from previous videos, and I'm going to post them across my socials somewhere, so keep an eye out. If you're not following me on Facebook or Instagram, well then maybe now is the time to do this. Thank you so much to the sponsor of the video. Thank you obviously to the Patreons, because without the Patreons we couldn't keep the lights blinding my eyeballs and actually make videos every single week. And this is it, the end of the video. This is where I tell you, the viewer, that if you watched all of this and you had some kind of a problem in between, that seems to be your problem and not my problem, and you probably should have earlier than now. F***ed off.